March 25th, 2026. A-10, Warthogs drop low over western Iraq and unleash the GAU-8 Avenger on Iranian-backed Popular Mobilization Forces positions. Al-Shaabi fighters funded by Tehran's Quds Force. 7 killed, 13 wounded. Days earlier, Iran refused a U.S. ceasefire proposal. Washington's answer was simple: we negotiate with bombs. But who exactly was on the receiving end of that cannon fire? And why does it threaten to collapse Iran's entire proxy network? Gun camera footage leaves no doubt. The unmistakable BRRT of the GAU-8 Avenger tears through the pre-dawn silence over Anbar, each frame timestamped and geolocated to 33.342 north, 43.945 east. Analysts match the terrain, the perimeter fence, the cluster of concrete outbuildings, and finally, the fresh 8-meter crater that appears in commercial satellite images just hours after the strike. Before and after shots from Maxar and Planet Labs show the same spot, intact on March 22nd, shattered by March 26th. The crater's radius and shallow angle match the signature of a high-velocity 30mm burst, or a precision-guided bomb, not artillery or rocket fire. On the ground, the Iraqi Ministry of Defense confirms the toll: 7 dead, 13 wounded, all logged by Ramadi General Hospital. The red crescent backs the numbers, identifying 2 of the wounded as medics assigned to the Popular Mobilization Forces, or PMF. The casualty list aligns with what is seen in the footage. No civilian houses touched, no random scatter, just a surgical strike on the militia's logistics hub. Open source investigators cross-check every detail. A social media video captures the moment. A thunderous impact, a rolling plume of smoke, and the distinctive sound of the Avenger's rotary cannon. Frame-by-frame analysis locks the location: the eastern fence line, the damaged support building, and the scorched earth where the crater now gapes. Even the PMF posts geotagged images of the aftermath, confirming the site and the losses. No official U.S. Central Command press release appears, but the forensic chain is unbroken. Coordinates, crater, and casualties converge. The Iraqi Ministry of Defense stands as the voice of record, its tally echoed by hospitals and verified by satellite. The evidence is overwhelming. This was a deliberate, high-impact strike, executed with American precision and unmistakable intent. al-Shaabi emerged not from Iraq's army, but from a 2014 emergency decree and Sistani's fatwa calling volunteers to fight ISIS. What began as a stopgap militia soon gained permanence. Law Number 40 in 2016 gave the Popular Mobilization Forces, known as the PMF, legal status equal to the Iraqi army, placing commanders under the Prime Minister. On paper, this meant state control. In reality, it created a split, as some brigades folded into official structures, while others kept their own leadership and foreign ties. By 2024, the Iraqi budget allocated $2.1 billion to the PMF for salaries and equipment, all overseen by the Hashed Commission under Fali Fayyad. Yet payroll records and leaked documents show that Iranian support runs alongside state funding. The U.S. Treasury Office of Foreign Assets Control has sanctioned major PMF factions, including the Badr organization, Kataib Hezbollah, and Asaib al-Haq, citing direct backing from the IRGC Quds Force. These are not empty accusations. Evidence includes intercepted cash transfers, Iranian training missions near the border, and IRGC liaison officers working inside PMF headquarters. Senior PMF commanders routinely collect stipends from Tehran, supplementing Iraqi salaries through informal banking and cross-border businesses. This dual funding structure blurs lines of loyalty. Brigades aligned with Iran often answer to the Quds Force as much as Baghdad. Others, more nationalist, stick to the official payroll and avoid actions that might provoke US or Israeli strikes. The PMF stands as both a pillar of Iraq's security and a regional tool for Tehran. Every strike on PMF positions sends shockwaves through Baghdad and Tehran alike, as the group's ambiguous legal and financial status clouds responsibility and shields Iranian interests behind Iraqi sovereignty. Tehran's answer to the American ceasefire proposal was swift and unmistakable. Within hours of receiving the 15-point package delivered through Pakistani diplomatic channels and offering limited sanctions relief, nuclear oversight by the International Atomic Energy Agency, and guarantees for shipping in the Strait of Hormuz, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps issued a public rebuke. The Revolutionary Guard's media arm dismissed the offer as fake news, saying the Americans are negotiating with themselves. There would be no pause, no concessions, only continued confrontation. The regional fallout was immediate. Commercial insurers, tracking every word and movement, raised premiums on Gulf shipping by 28% overnight, the sharpest spike since the tanker wars of the 1980s. Lloyd's of London flagged the Strait as a high-risk zone, citing new incidents. The Revolutionary Guard Navy fast boats harassed a Liberian-flagged tanker, and a drone overflight forced a British-flagged ship to halt outside Bandar Abbas. Coalition naval patrols surged in response, with U.S. and allied vessels expanding their escort corridors and broadcasting warnings on open channels. The message was clear. The Strait would not be surrendered to intimidation, and the economic arteries of the West would remain open, no matter the cost. As diplomatic channels froze, the tempo of military operations accelerated, setting the stage for a direct, kinetic answer to Iran's rejection. The A-10 Warthog and F-15E Strike Eagle form the backbone of American air power when precision and brute force are required in hostile territory. On March 25, 2026, their partnership was on full display over Iraq. The A-10, purpose-built for close air support, brings a singular weapon to the fight, the GAU-8 Avenger. This 7-barrel 30mm Gatling cannon, mounted along the aircraft's centerline, delivers up to 3,900 rounds per minute, each depleted uranium projectile designed to shred armored vehicles, bunkers, and fortified positions. Pilots typically limit their bursts to just 1 or 2 seconds, unleashing 60 to 80 rounds at a time, but the psychological and physical impact is unmistakable. Nothing clears a battlefield faster than the BRT of the Avenger. Complementing the Warthog's gun runs, the F-15E Strike Eagle operates at higher altitude, deploying bunker-busting GBU-72 bombs when hardened targets demand a heavier punch. The GBU-72, weighing 5,000 pounds, is engineered to penetrate reinforced concrete before detonating, making it the weapon of choice against command bunkers and deeply buried arsenals. An F-15E weapons officer described the coordination. The A-10s sweep low, suppressing and scattering enemy fighters, while we drop the hammer from above. It's a 1-2 that leaves nothing to chance. This layered approach is more than hardware. It is doctrine. The A-10's high-angle attack profile minimizes exposure to man-portable air defense systems and small arms, while the F-15E's standoff precision ensures that no target is out of reach. Together, they provide overwhelming force and pinpoint accuracy, sending a clear message to Iran-backed Popular Mobilization Forces networks. American air power dominates the battle space. As the tempo of strikes increases and diplomatic overtures are dismissed, the United States demonstrates that, in the words of former President Trump, we negotiate with bombs. Iran's missile arsenal is running on fumes. Open source intelligence puts the current inventory at roughly 1,000 operational missiles, down from 2,500 at the start of the campaign. This is not just a statistic. It is the result of relentless US and Israeli strikes hammering IRGC launch sites, production lines, and storage depots. The latest salvos aimed at Israel barely break through. over 90% are intercepted by layered air defenses, from Arrow 3 to Patriot batteries. Tehran's ability to threaten the region with massed ballistic firepower is visibly eroding. On the ground, the coalition is not just holding the line, it is reinforcing it. A full Marine Expeditionary Unit, 2,500 strong, is now deployed to Al-Mathana, bringing rapid reaction armor and aviation to Iraq's western corridor. At the same time, over 1,000 paratroopers from the 82nd Airborne Division have landed in Kuwait and southern Iraq. Their orders are clear: plug gaps, interdict proxy movements, and stand ready for counterinsurgency or direct action. This surge is not symbolic. Every additional boot, every armored vehicle, is a signal to Iran and its proxies that the United States is not backing down. Material advantage is shifting. As missile stocks dwindle and coalition forces multiply, the calculus for Iran-backed militias, including al-Shaabi, gets narrower by the day. The message is plain. American firepower is not just holding the field, it is dictating the terms. Baghdad's Green Zone braced for the backlash. On March 25th, the Prime Minister's office issued formal summons to both the United States and Iranian ambassadors, condemning the Anbar strike as a violation of sovereignty and demanding immediate explanations. Crowds gathered outside the parliament, waving Iraqi flags and chanting, "Iraq is not a battlefield for foreign wars." The government's communiques echoed the street. "We reject any attack by any hand on our soil." Yet behind the patriotic slogans, the economic tether tightened. Leaked policy briefs revealed $100 million in incentives dangled before key ministries, oil export quotas, reconstruction contracts, and border customs revenue, all leveraged to keep Baghdad in the coalition's orbit. Inside the National Security Council, a new clause authorized the Popular Mobilization Forces to respond directly to attacks, a move both defiant and desperate. Coalition planners countered with a Tier 1 and Tier 2 raid doctrine, elite teams striking deep, then regular forces holding ground. The message was unmistakable. The United States would not allow Iranian-backed proxies to operate with impunity. Policymakers weighed the risks. Each airstrike degraded the Popular Mobilization Forces infrastructure, but risked pushing nationalist factions closer to Tehran. The Prime Minister's office released a terse statement. "Our sovereignty is not for sale, nor is our future hostage to foreign agendas." The pressure campaign left Baghdad walking a razor's edge. Every move, whether a protest in the streets or a clause in a security decree, forced Iraq's leaders to choose: bend to outside pressure or risk escalation that could tear the country apart. In the words painted on protest banners, Iraq decides its own fate. But in the war rooms, the reality was starker. Sovereignty had become a slogan, caught between the hammer of American air power and the anvil of proxy retaliation. Today, the A-10 and its GAU-8 Avenger remain unmatched in close air support, delivering a message Tehran cannot ignore. Every strike on the Popular Mobilization Forces, also known as al-Shaabi, fractures Iran's proxy web. Momentum is shifting. In this new era, we negotiate with bombs, not empty words. Your move, Tehran.